So welcome everybody to the next video, and this video is going to be very important because in today's video we're going to talk about the sentence structures that you should use in describing change over time graphs, change charts in general, if you're aiming for 7, 8, and 9 in grammatical range and accuracy. So let's get started. So I have included the sentence structures here, but in the video, I'm going to explain how you should use them with, several examples. So let's get to it. So the first one is here using, and but this was followed by. I normally use it or use this sentence structure to start my body paragraphs. For example, you can say this, the number of people who went to the zoo, let's just say, started at 12 million in 2000. So, and then you can say this, and this was followed by a considerable rise to 14 million in the next year. So now let me explain this. So as we have a preposition here, by, it means that we need to use a noun sentence structure. So I said adjective plus noun. And in the previous videos, I explained that you don't always have to use adjectives. You can just use the noun itself as well. But here I used a noun. Yeah, this was an adjective plus noun. This was followed by a considerable rise to 14 million in the next year. So I used and here, right? So now I'm going to give you another example where I will use but. For example, look at this. The number of, let's just say, computers, I'm just writing, random context, sold by the company A rose to 3,000 in September. Let's just say this. But this was followed by a slight dip. Yeah, dip basically means to drop. Yeah, it's a drop. By a slight dip, or let's just say fall or drop to 2,700 in October. So if you pay attention, I used but. This was followed by because I'm describing two contrasting changes. Yeah. Like, yeah. I said the number of computers sold by a company rose. Yeah, that's the first change. And here we have the contrasting change, a slight dip, slight fall. Yeah. So that's why I used but this was followed by. But if you use it at the beginning of your paragraphs, you can use and this was followed by. So that's the first sentence structure. And that's a very effective sentence structure in my opinion. So now let's learn how to use before plus after, before or after plus adjective plus noun, or a gerund. So now we learn how to use before and after as prepositions. What I mean by this is, like I said, after prepositions, you need to use nouns or gerunds. The same is going to apply for before and after. That's how you will use it. So when you use before and after, there must be two sentences, right? And before and after is going to make up the first part of the sentence or the second part of the sentence. Yeah, one part of the sentence. So let's just use them. So look at this. After a noticeable rise to, let's just say, 14,000. So now if you pay attention, I didn't include any context here. Yeah, you don't know what increased here. We don't know. So to let the examiner or to let the reader know what you're talking about or what changed, you need to include that thing in the second part of the sentence. Not in the first part, but in the second part of the sentence. Let's just say the number of people who bought cars uh, let's just say in September, let's use July. Yeah. After a noticeable rise to 4,000 in July, still we don't know what changed. Now we include that in the second part. Yeah. The number of people who bought cars dropped to, let's just say, 3,000 in August, let's just say. Hmm? So you see, we included the first change here, a noticeable rise. So that means it's an adjective plus noun sentence structure, yeah? And in the second part of the sentence, we included a full sentence. This is not a full sentence, but this is a full sentence, right? So let's read it one more time. After a noticeable rise to 4,000 in July, the number of people who bought cars dropped to 3,000 in August. So that's how you will use it. So now let's rephrase this sentence now using a gerund, yeah, because after these words, we can also use a gerund. Gerund basically means verb ing. Let's just say, yeah, verbs that end with ing. So we can say this, yeah. After rising noticeably, remember the previous videos? I'm using verb sentence structure, yeah, to 4,000 in July. So then I'm basically going to copy and paste this part of the sentence. Yeah, that's it. That's how you will use it. After rising noticeably to 4,000 in July, the number of people who bought cars dropped to 3,000 in August. So here, let me explain one more thing. You can use these sentences anywhere. I mean, to describe any type of change. Yeah, they can be just contrasting changes like this one. Um, which I did here, yeah, rising and then dropping, yeah, they are contrasting changes, right? So now I'm going to use this sentence structure using, after and before with non-contrasting sentences. Let's just say similar changes. Look at this. After rising, or let's use other words, yeah, after increasing slightly to 12 million, the number of people visiting museums uh, uh, rose further to 15 million. Now I forgot to include the years. Let's just say 2005 and 2007. So you see, I described similar changes using the same sentence structure. After increasing slightly to 12 million, this is increase, yeah, it rose, the number rose, and then it rose again. So when you describe, similar changes, I recommend you use the word further to, improve the sentence structure even more. So this is how you will use before and after. Now let me show how to use before, so that, you will use them in your reports as well. So let's use these exact sentences, but with before. Yeah, we're going to paraphrase them. So, look at this. The number of people, let me just read it. I'm just getting confused myself. After a noticeable rise to 14,000 in July, the number of people who bought cars dropped to 3,000 in August. So, look at this. The number of people who bought cars rose noticeably, yeah, before dropping to 3,000 in August. So basically I didn't include in July. Yeah. The number of people who bought cars rose noticeably in July before dropping to 3,000 in August. That's how you will do it. Yeah, you need to understand, the meanings of before and after, to be able to use these sentence structures. So let's rephrase this one as well because this one is practically the same. Okay. The number of people visiting museums increased slightly, or let's use the noun sentence structure, yeah? Saw a slight increase before rising further to 15 million in 2007. That's how you will use it. So using before can be quite confusing. So you don't have to use before always. If you think that it's confusing, you don't have to use and just use after. I mean, that's easier. So let's move on. Now, using despite plus adjective and noun or using gerund. So they follow the same, sentence structure, but the rule is a bit different. You need to describe contrasting changes. It means that you cannot say this. Yeah, despite rising, the figure rose or increased. This is incorrect because despite is used to contrast. It means but. So to be able to use it correctly, that's what you should do. So imagine this. Now I'm going to give you a little context. Let's use Simon again. Simon, let's just say, earned $15 on Monday. So $20, $25, let's just say, on Tuesday, and $10 on Wednesday. So you can see that here there was an increase, but here there's a decrease. So it means that we have contrasting changes. That means we can use despite here. So let's use this. Despite increasing to, or let's say from $15 to $25, the earnings of Simon dropped to $10 on Wednesday. That's how you should describe it. So despite increasing from, let's include on Tuesday, the earnings of Simon dropped to $10 on Wednesday. So we have now, contrasting changes. Increase and decrease. So these are contrasting changes. So you can basically, let's include an adverb as well. Increasing noticeably, or let's use considerably, dropped significantly, to $10. So let's use this sentence structure, but with adjective and noun right here. So we can say this, despite a significant increase from $15 to $25 on Tuesday, the earnings of Simon dropped significantly to $10 on Wednesday. So that's how you will use it. So now we used a noun sentence structure here. So I repeat one more time. You need to use this sentence structure to describe contrasting changes. You cannot say this, for example. You cannot say this. So basically that's how you will use it. Now let's learn the next sentence structure. using after which plus another change. So again, just like, followed by, you can use the same structure anywhere. You can use it at the beginning of your paragraphs to start the paragraph, or you can use it in the middle. So look at this. Let's use, uncountable nouns as well. Yeah, the amount of oil produced by the USA, yeah, rose to 10 tons, or let's just say 1,000 tons, in October, after which it improved further to 120 tons in December. So you need to pay attention to this. I started my sentence by saying this produced by the amount of oil produced by the USA. And in the next part, I said it. So this it basically refers to this part. Basically this, the amount of. So that's a good way to describe changes, because you shouldn't always repeat the same, vocabulary, same words, like the amount, the figure for the amount, the amount, or the number of the proportion, the percentage. Sometimes you can refer to them using it, or you can say this figure, yeah, which is what I did. So remember this, yeah, after which, when you use after which, you need to use a full sentence after that. Yeah, I said it improved. Yeah, it means that subject and verb. So let's use another sentence, and then we're going to move on. So the proportion of men who participated in a marathon, let's say, yeah, was 54% in 2001, let's just say. Look at this. After which it saw a considerable decline to 30% in 2003, let's just say. So again, I used the same sentence structure using after which. I mean, that's a very easy sentence structure in my opinion. You just pick two changes and you connect them using after which. That's how you should do it. Now, let's move on. Let's look at the next sentence structure here. So, this sentence structure is very interesting. I use it all the time. Sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, to finish my reports or finish my paragraphs. Yeah, look at this. The amount of oil produced, well, let's just say which was produced by Russia. Let's talk about Russia now. Increased noticeably. So you see, I included the change. I didn't include the number yet, but I just included the change. Now I will include the number using this, reaching 200 tons. I didn't include the year. Let's just include the year or period as well. Let's just say 2000. That's it. That's how you will use it. The amount of oil which was produced by Russia increased noticeably in 2000, reaching 200 tons. So basically, you just don't tell the you don't say the number at the first part of in the first part of the sentence. You just include it after this, reaching. So let's use this sentence structure one more time, and then we will move on. So what can I say? The percentage of people using public transportation we need to include the change. Yeah. Dipped, let's say, dramatically, from 2005 to 2010, reaching just 10%. So I included just, you can include it as well to talk about small numbers, right? So I use the same sentence structure again. Yeah, here's the change, and here's the word reach. So that's how you will use it. Now, the next sentence structure is also very interesting. You can use it to start your paragraphs. I sometimes use it. So look at this. Starting at, you will include the number. Yeah, let's just say $200,000. Yeah. Now you need to include the context. Yeah. What's this? Yeah, you need to include that. Yeah. The amount of money earned by the company C, let's just say, yeah, the company C, what happened? Increased to $250,000. That's how you can use it, yeah? So you just say the starting at plus number, and then you will include a full sentence describing the change that happened, yeah? So let's include the years as well, 2000 and 2005. That's how you will use the sentence. I show you one more sentence and then we will move on. Starting at just 5% in 2019, let's just say, yeah, the proportion, and we need to use the word proportion because we're talking about percentages, yeah, proportion of people in or let's say proportion of unemployed people, yeah, people rose to 9%. Again, we need to include the year in 2020, let's just say, yeah. Starting at just 5% in 2019, the proportion of unemployed people rose to 9% in 2020. That's it. So the next one, I love using this sentence structure, to be honest, and that's very, very interesting. Yeah, so look at this. I'm just going to, take this sentence and rephrase it. Yeah, look at this. The proportion of employed people started at just 5% in 2019. Look at this. A figure that then rose to 9% in 2020. That's how you will use it. So that's basically giving comments on the change. That's why I use the word a figure, not the figure. Yeah, that's how you will do it. I mean, that's a very advanced sentence structure. You just learn it and use it, all the time. Yeah. You will see me using these sentence structures in the next video probably, where we will talk about how to, organize body paragraphs. So let's use it one more time. Yeah. The number of items sold by the company A, started at 2000 in January, let's just say it, a figure that then dropped slightly to 18 or 1900 in March, let's just say, yeah. That's it. Now let me explain it one more time. So basically we are saying a figure, a figure. So this basically refers to this, this. It's like saying this. The proportion of unemployed people started at 5% in 2019, and this figure then rose to 9% and in 2020. Yeah, it's like saying this figure, yeah, because we are, by saying a figure, we are referring to this 5%. And in the second sentence, it's the same thing. By saying a figure, we're talking about 2000. And it's like saying this 2000 then dropped to 1900 in March. So that's how you should do it, yeah? Just learn it and you can use it all the time. Next one. You're using while to describe changes, yeah? So I usually, in overviews, yeah, I use this sentence structure usually in overviews. Yeah, for example, I'd say something like this, yeah? While the figure for, let's just say, company or women, yeah, rose, that of or that for men increased, yeah, increased. So that's how you should use it. Now I will explain this. Yeah? While here is used to make a contrast or comparison, you can use it all the time, but that does not mean this sentence structure is very different from this one. Yeah, while I was watching TV, my brother was sleeping. Yeah, that's a very different sentence to this sentence. Yeah, here while is used to make comparison, basically contrast. Comparison. Here, while is used to talk about the time, let's just say, yeah. I don't know the exact terminology, but I guess you got the point, yeah. So that's how you should use it. I will use it in overviews in the next videos, you will see them. And yeah, that's how you should use it. Now, let's use the next sentence structure. So you can use this sentence structure in this way, yeah? The number of people who went to the museum rose, let's say noticeably, in 2000, but then dropped to, let's just say, 1500 in 2001. You see, using a universal subject and then using two, verbs. Let's just. So the subject of these both verbs, yeah, rose, dropped, is the same, yeah, which is the number of people who went to the museum. So here I used but, now let's use and, yeah. Let's just say percentage of women who were unemployed or who worked in hotel industry rose to, or let's just say increased to 20% in 2008, and then rose to 23% in 2009. So I used again the same subject, but two verbs. Yeah, increased, then rose. So that's how you use it. And when you include contrasting changes, you need to use but when you use, two similar changes, you need to use and. That's very simple. Now let's look at the final one, and I use it in overviews. So you can say this, yeah. For example, now I'm just okay. The proportion, let's just say, of both men and women in sports increased, yeah, with the former seeing a more noticeable change. That's how you will do it, yeah? So now let me explain what the word former means, and then I can talk about this sentence structure more. So here, former means the first one, basically refers to men in this sentence. So using with, when you use with sentence structure, you need to use a gerund as a, let's just say, main verb in the sentence. Yeah. So you start with the first sentence, just a very simple sentence. Yeah, the proportion of both men and women in sports increased, with the former seeing a more noticeable change. So change basically refers to increase here. Yeah, I didn't want to repeat the same word. So that's how you will do it. So you can use former when you only talk about two things, not three things. When you talk about two things, you can use former. But when you have three things, you cannot use former. Yeah, let me just copy this sentence. But now I will include children as well. So here I say men, women, and children in sports increased, with men, or let's just say with the figure for men seeing a more noticeable change. Here, I didn't use the word former because there are three things. You normally use the word former or the latter when you talk about two things. But here, we talk about three things. So that's why I use the word, the figure for men. I repeated the same thing. So that's how you will use this. Yeah. So remember this. You need to talk about two or more things, and then you will, pick one of them which had the biggest change, and you will include this sentence in the second part of your sentence. So I usually use this sentence structure in overviews. I've mentioned this already, but yeah, that's how you will do it. That's how things work in task one chain charts. So we have just, seen 10 most important sentence structures. I'm not saying that these are the only sentence structures because we will learn many more sentence structures when we actually start start describing paragraphs. So these are the most, let's just say, universal sentence structures, which you can use to describe any chain charts. And, if you learn how to use these sentences effectively in task one, I think you will be able to describe any graph, any chain chart. So that's it for today. Thank you for your attention. See you in the next videos.